In Boston's real estate market, multiple offers are the norm and competition is fierce. But here's the truth. A strong strategy for a strong offer beats a high offer more often than not, at least in my experience. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through some stories of how I've helped clients get their offers accepted for homes they've loved without overpaying, even in a multiple offer situation. So stick around. I think these are going to be some strategies you want to have in your back pocket. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike O'Brien. I'm a Boston real estate agent and expert helping buyers and clients navigate one of the most competitive real estate markets in the entire country. So in today's video, I'm going to be providing some behind the scenes stories of how I've helped clients get their offers accepted against the proverbial odds. So whether you're buying your first home or your fifth, this video will provide the thinking, the strategies that will give you an edge. So the first thing you need is a clear vision, and that can mean two different things really. You can either know exactly the kind of home you're looking for, and then it's a matter of where can we find that, or you know exactly where you want to be, and then what can we find in those particular towns, cities, or neighborhoods. And if I can use my most recent closing and those clients as an example and their experience of what I mean, before we got connected, these were first-time home buyers, and before we got connected, they were just casting way too wide of a net for their home search. They kind of knew what they were looking for, and that they were looking for a single family. They wanted at least 2 bedrooms, maybe number of bathrooms up in the air. They really know the particulars of what they were looking for, and they wanted to quote unquote keep it a reasonable commute, but they were still looking an hour north of the city, south of the city, west of the city. Again, just casting a really wide net. And when you're casting that wide of a net, quantity is not necessarily going to be quantity. When you're trying to look for everything, it's tough to find anything. And so once we got connected, we were able to really hone in their home search. Say that 3 times fast. Hone in their home search. What are we looking for? Okay, we need a single family home with at least 2 bedrooms. And we'd like at least a bath and a half. And we would like some yard space, either be it in a backyard or the front yard. And if there's a bonus room or a finished basement, that'd be fantastic as well. And we like to keep our commute reasonable. All right, well, where do you work? Where are you commuting to? All right, were we working in Waltham and Watertown? Okay, great. Let's see what we can find that's going to check all those boxes and keep in the reasonable commute, because that's fairly high up on their list in terms of the important parts of their home search, or the important wants of their home search. And so we were able to dive in and see, hey, you don't need to look an hour north of the city or 45 minutes west of the city, or look wide and far for what you're looking for. What you are looking for, we can find at the price point you want to be within, and be close to your working situation, your working location, and keep the commute reasonable and keep it short. Once we found that there were homes and opportunities available that checked the boxes that they were looking for, we're now able to kind of shift into strategy mode when it comes to putting in that offer. But it all starts with a clear vision of what you're looking for and where we can find it. Now that you have the vision and the strategy for your home search, you find a home that you love, that you want to put an offer in on, now comes the strategy of crafting a strong offer that will get accepted by the seller. Now, again, using my client's recent experience as an example, I don't want to dismiss the offer price at all when it comes to putting in a strong offer. Obviously, it's very important, if not the most important thing when it comes to putting in an offer. But there are so many different levers you can push and pull, so many different aspects you can tweak to make an offer its strongest. And again, using my client's recent experience, I know for a fact that the offer price that we submitted was not the highest that was submitted amongst the, I think it was more than 10 offers for this particular property. But we were able to build an offer that showed strength and flexibility, one that the seller wanted to accept. And so there's a lot of different things you can do, and going through what my clients were able to do and what we were able to do to make this offer its strongest. First off was get their financing pre-underwritten. So working with a local lender, and there's a lot of lenders that offer these types of programs these days, basically going through the financing underwriting process, the mortgage underwriting process, which takes about 2 to 3 weeks, such that their financing, their mortgage, their loan for the price point they were looking at is ready to go. And so they were comfortable, and we were able to remove the mortgage contingency, the financing contingency, and make their offer that much stronger. We were also able to offer a strong initial deposit. We were also able to work our timeline and adjust our timeline so that it met the seller's needs. This house was vacant. The seller wanted to sell as quickly as possible because of my buyer's situation, because their financing was pre-underwritten, a number of factors. They were able to provide a very competitive and quick timeline for closing. So really checking all the boxes at the end of the day that the seller was looking for. So again, it's not always the highest offer price, and hey, sometimes it is, but again, there's all these different factors, all these different aspects of the offer that you have at your disposal to make sure that it's the strongest as possible, and so you're meeting the seller's needs and hopefully getting that offer accepted. So a strategy, or a proverbial arrow in the quiver you're seeing used more and more here in competitive markets, and especially one like Boston, is the pre-inspection, we'll call it power move. And inspections have had a lot of stigma associated to them over the last couple of years, especially through the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic. You hear sellers all the time, we're looking for a clean offer, we're looking for a clean offer. So what does that mean? Well, cash if possible, of course, or the mortgage and financing contingency being waived, and of course the inspection contingency being waived, which allows the seller to think that this is just going to be as easy of a process and smooth of a process as possible, since cash offer, no financing, and no inspection that we need to worry about. But how do you protect yourself as a buyer, waive that home inspection, or at least have some sort of home inspection and still put forth a strong offer? And that's where the pre-inspection has been coming in more and more and more. It's not something every buyer is willing to do, and it's not something I would recommend doing too often. Why? Well, it basically just costs you money up front before you even were 100% sure that you want to put an offer in on this property. So what it does give you on the other side, perhaps, is peace of mind that you've had an inspection. You have a complete picture of this home, what's going on, what's all about, what you need to plan and budget for accordingly. So again, there's pros and cons to this, and basically what you're going to be doing is scheduling a showing or perhaps attending an open house, and you're bringing a home inspector with you, and you're going to be shelling out hundreds of dollars to basically conduct a home inspection either at the showing or on the fly at the open house, so you can again get the complete picture of the home, know what you're going to be dealing with, and if you're feeling comfortable, waive that home inspection contingency to make the offer as clean and simple and really serious when it's all said and done. So again, the pre-inspection is something that you're seeing used more and more. I've had some clients use it and be able to waive the inspection contingency, know what they're getting into, plan accordingly, budget accordingly, and get that offer accepted. And listen, there have been a couple times where my buyers have done the pre-inspection, again, got the report, got the complete picture, the complete story of the home, and they've said, not for us, and they were able to walk away. But again, how do you protect yourself? Get that home inspection, again, get a complete picture of the home, know what you need to plan for or not, and put forth a strong offer. Pre-inspection, again, one of the strategies that buyers have been putting to use more and more in this competitive market. So one thing that's sometimes overlooked when it comes to putting an offer, and again, you're thinking about the offer price, you're thinking about all the different aspects and factors and ways you can make the offer its strongest, is communication with the listing agent. Because the listing agent is the buyer's bridge to the seller, and knowing their thoughts and knowing their wants and needs when it comes to putting in an offer. And so when I know my buyers want to put in an offer on a particular property, I pick up the phone, I'm on the horn with the listing agent as soon as possible. First off, I want to build rapport with the listing agent. I want to make a good first impression, not only for myself, but more importantly for my buyers. And if you're working together, if you get your offer accepted, you're going to be working together. I mean, you're going to have this relationship, you're going to have this process together through offer accepted to closing. And so you want to make sure that you build rapport and have a good relationship with that listing agent as you're going through the offer process. Again, want the listing agent to think of my buyers first amongst all the others, of course, and that comes hopefully with a good impression, both for myself and my buyers and their offer, but also I want to get information. So I want to find out about the seller's timelines, their priorities outside of offer price, of course. What are their pain points? What other obstacles do we need to figure out, overcome, or solve to make sure that our offer is the strongest? I want to find out if there's other competition. I want to find out potentially, do we know what those other offers are looking like and how can we craft ours accordingly? So I always keep the communication respectful, responsive, professional. There's a subtle art to this a little bit. I want to make a good impression. I want to be in constant communication with the listing agent, but I don't want to be too pushy, too disrespectful in any way. So again, just trying to be professional and create a good relationship and a good rapport with the listing agent. A buyer's agent may not be the reason you get your offer accepted ultimately, but they should never be the reason you don't get it accepted because you've been unprofessional, you've been too pushy, you've been disrespectful. So again, communication with the listing agent is so key, not only in getting information, but again, building the type of relationship that you want for your buyers throughout the course of the transaction. All right, this one's a bit of a quick one, and it seems common sense, it seems simple, but you'd be surprised how many times it doesn't happen. So it's not just about submitting an offer, but we're submitting an offer package. And want to make sure it is organized, it is clean, it is simple, it is convenient for the listing agent and the seller. So that's a matter of making sure all the documents are in one clean, well-organized PDF. You'd be surprised how many agents send along an email with all these different attachments instead of just putting it into one clean, organized PDF that makes it as convenient as possible for the listing agent and seller. We're going to put a summary sheet together of the offer and the major points. So here's our offer price. Here's our P&S date. Here's where we're looking to close. What our financing situation. So all the bullet points, called all the highlights of the offer, just laid out in an organized fashion so that the listing agent and the seller have easy access to all the major components of the offer itself. We'll also talk about, all right, the deposit is going to come to you either in a hard check or a wire deposit. What would the seller like? Again, making it as easy and convenient as possible, again, assuming the offer is accepted. And finally, thank you for the opportunity to submit this offer. Thank you for reviewing it. We look forward to hearing from you. Again, the offer package, the offer presentation is going to be polished, prepared, organized, and that matters, especially when you're in a multiple offer situation. You want to make sure offer is not only just looking its best on paper, but as a presentation and the package being submitted to the listing agent as well. Now, going back to my clients that I've been referring to throughout this video, again, their offer, one of more than 10 put in on this particular property. I think it was 13 when it was all said and done. And so getting the call from the listing agent, your offer has been accepted, wonderful news, but asking for feedback. How did our offer get accepted over the other 12 that were submitted? And the listing agent told me that there were others that were higher in price, yes, but you were able to more line up your timeline with what the seller wanted. Other offers had some contingencies included. You were able to work through those, and we were either through, again, pre-underwriting the financing, using a pre-inspection. Really, we pulled out all the stops for this particular property, and to be honest, we had put in some offers on other properties before getting this one accepted, and we just missed out a couple times, and so able to have success this time around. And so our offer, lower in price, yes, but cleaner and at the end of the day, easier for the seller to accept. And so we got the call, we won, we got our offer accepted. My clients absolutely thrilled. They have the home or have the offer accepted on the home that they fell in love with, and they didn't have to overpay. They stayed within their budget, they stayed within their comfort zone. So what can we take away from this video and my client's recent experience? First off, and this is a simple one, this is an easy one, makes sense, common sense, clean beats complicated every day of the week. Number two, relationships with agents matter. Again, listing agent and buyer's agent, That's a bridge between seller and buyer. You want to make sure that relationship is strong, it is good, so everything goes as smoothly as possible from the beginning of the offer submission process to offer accepted and then all the way through closing. Number 3, knowing the seller's goals gives you an edge. Information is power, and that information is never as powerful during the home search as it is when you know the seller's wants, needs, desires, and goals. And finally, your offer is always more than just the offer price. It is a strategy therein in crafting the strongest offer. And so that's what I'm trying to bring to the table for my buyers every day and for every home search. Now, if you're thinking about starting the home search in Boston or you're planning on buying a home in Boston, let's connect. Let's start to build a strategy that will get your offer accepted in this competitive market, the most competitive market real estate wise in the entire country. If this video helped you understand the process of getting an offer accepted, make sure you like this video. Comment if you have any questions about your own situation, and don't forget to subscribe to my Moving to Boston playlist right here for more information and buyer insights. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in Boston sometime soon, and we'll see you in the next video.